And she's slanging the word single like it's the biggest insult. Girl, at this rate, and I'm married, but at this rate, marriage is sounding like the insult. At this rate, yeah, that's what it sounded like. Oh God. Greetings and welcome to my channel. My name is Tenicka. In case you are new here, my channel focuses on fashion and travel and beauty and yapping. In today's video, I'm doing my makeup and I'm yapping in a series that I like to call Closet Confessions, where I just talk about things that are on my mind while I do my makeup. Now, I am going to an event this evening. Really quickly before I get into the topic, I use the Mented Every Night eyeshadow palette. I love this. It's so gorgeous and stunning. Look at this. Ooh, I got my hand all in the black. Look at this neutral palette. It is so pretty. I just used which shade? This shade on my eyelid, this like champagne-y color, and then I went in the crease with that, and I used a couple others, but really enjoying that palette. And I used the Danessa Myricks Serum Skin Tint in the shade 14 and the House Labs in the shade 480 as my base. Love that for me. And then I use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, which that's what I'm supposed to be blending out. If you came from my last video, then you know that, honey, I was really on one talking about Shannon Sharp. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about the pastors that have been going viral over on the TikTok for saying some of the craziest things.
He would call me out my name. It wouldn't bother me because I allowed God's voice to be louder than his.
And I just think that we have to be honest.
And although he would go out for weekends, I would literally help him get ready to go meet a side chick, right? Ironing his clothes.
And we have to talk about it. Now, I will say this. I am obviously biased. I am biased because I am a progressive woman. I am a millennial. And I'm a person who has common sense. My God, today I have common sense, and I would never in a million years get on the internet with so much lack of self-awareness and say some of the things that these pastors said. In 2025, let me tell you something. If I went through that level of suffering, which for the record, I did not, I have gone through what I believe to be limited or no suffering by most people's definition or imagination in my own marriage. But if I gone through the things that this woman says that she has gone through, the CIA could not waterboard that information out of me. That is crazy, nasty work. That you can say that with a straight face, in joy and calm and ease, because you believe that it is a testimony for other women who may be struggling to find love. This is so let me calm down. Whew, my God, today. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. See, I'm dropping stuff. Let me calm down. Because this is why I never wanted to be married. Because this is what marriage was to me when I was a kid. When I saw marriage, I saw women suffering and trying to pretend like they were waiting for a pot of gold at the end of a horrible, terrible rainbow. That all their suffering would lead them to a shiny, incredible, amazing home and bed in heaven. Even if they didn't get it on earth. That there was the only thing worse for them than being single with no man was being divorced. As a society, I'm going to be honest with you. There are single women who believe that there is nothing worse than being divorced. They believe that being divorced, you married the wrong person. That's why I don't want to get married. Honey, there is nothing wrong with getting a divorce. If this man was the right person, for 16 years and he turned out to be the wrong person on year 17, you are entitled to divorce him. Welcome back to the streets. I don't care if you 67. You should never in a million years make a man believe that he has you for life, no matter what he does. What? In a society that socializes men and women around patriarchy and misogyny and making men believe that they cannot stop their natural urges, that they are just going to naturally be unfaithful and cheat on you, in this society, you will go around and tell women and shame women for getting a divorce? Divorce needs to always be on the menu when you have men behaving in this kind of way. Always. Baby, you should if that man, if you are hungry in the middle of the night and that man doesn't get up and go get you a snack, divorce needs to be on the menu. You need to threaten that man. Huh? If you need some popcorn and you are 7 months pregnant, that man don't get up and make you some popcorn, you need to contact a divorce attorney. If you want to have one kid and that man is threatening you with having 2 and 3 and 4 kids, divorce needs to be on the menu. If that man came in the door making $200,000 and it's been 4 months and he's sitting on the couch and he lost his job and he can't barely find a job making $50,000, divorce needs to be on the menu. My God, today, you need to ask me. Don't ask them. Ask me. That's the problem. That, to me, that is one of the cornerstone issues, is that y'all believe so deeply that the person that you end up walking down the aisle with is going to sustain you for the rest of your life. How do you know that? How do you know who you will be? And why would you ever make somebody believe that they can do anything to you? You got that much faith in men. Marriage has a horrible track record. A horrible track record. 50% is horrible. And you going around saying that you don't care what this person does? Let me tell you something. If I don't care what this man does to me, I'm staying married, was a person, it would be Miss Kelly. Yeah, that's who it would be. I've seen the face of Stand By My Man. I've seen it, and that's her. I've seen the face of it. Baby, she is staying the course, baby. Old school. Old school. They are the people that's going to be saying they're celebrating 50 years and they have walked through the fire and God has brought them out and they are victorious and they have made it. This woman got on national internet, Beyonce's, Al Gore's, okay, and said, this man will call me names. Call her names. And she just knew one day he would love her. She just ignored it. She said this man, I'm paraphrasing, allegedly, okay? She said she ironed her husband's clothes, knowing full well that he wasn't coming home, that he was going to go sleep with another woman. Y'all have made it far too comfortable for men. You made it far too comfortable for men. That's hard stop. You've made it far too comfortable for men to think that's acceptable. And that's why there are so many young men who believe that when they do get married, that their wife, the woman in their life, should accept them no matter how they are, including infidelity. That at the end of the day, that is that they are in possession of you, that you are their wife, and therefore there is nothing that they can do that will make you leave them. I want you to try it. Yeah, I want you to try it. I want you to go in there and I want you to tell your spouse and your partner and your man that you're going to go meet your boo, your side boo, and you're going to engage in a sexual escapade and you're going to do all these things. And I want you to see how long you stay married. Actually, don't do that because men are violent. And we don't want to attend your funeral. So please, we don't want to, don't do that. Actually, I'll take that back. But the point still stands. That what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And they don't want to engage in that type of behavior because they already know that. And some women think that's cute. They're like, I would have cheated back on him. I would have left. Are y'all okay? Why is staying ever an option? Why do you believe that God, my God today, would allow you to go through this level of suffering? Why do you think that that's okay? Why do you think that God doesn't think enough about you, your feelings, your emotions, your need for love, your past traumas, your childhood? Why do you think that God doesn't think enough of you, that he wouldn't give you a love that is healing and nurturing and lovely? And that if he could not find someone that is healing and nurturing and loving and faithful and financially secure, that he would just allow you in all of your goodness to find that in other platonic ways? Why are you that unfaithful to God in his thoughts and his word? Why? Why would you settle for a person that is emotionally and mentally abusing you, especially during your formative years? Why do you think so lowly of yourself that you think that that's acceptable? Marriage needs a complete rebrand. It needs a complete rebrand. First of all, God needs to sue them for defamation. Yeah, he needs to sue them for defamation, because you're saying that this is godly, that God did this, that God sent you this relationship that is toxic and emotionally and mentally abusive so that you can give a testimony. I'm going to represent God quid pro quo pro bono. Okay? And we reject that. We reject that in Jesus' name. That is, no, you need to be sued for defamation. That is a mischaracterization of the character of the Holy Spirit. I rebuke that. That is absolutely not okay. And this is why so many women are pushing back, because that should be socially unacceptable. Even if there are women who have engaged in this type of behavior and done this, they should have enough self-awareness to know that they were victims, and they should not want this kind of relationship and these kinds of experiences for other women, their daughters, their aunts, younger women, even women their age, right? Like, what you choose to accept in your relationship is kind of your business. I mean, it's not because you made it our business, but it is, I can support it, being your business. However, once you try to make it seem like this is okay and that we should, take lessons from this, that's where I draw the line. What I think is even worse than that, if it can even get any worse, is when asked about this idea of what would she say to like younger women or women who are still single who might turn their nose. She's like, well, that's why y'all might be single. You don't say. Don't threaten us with a good time. That's why you're single. Exactly, and amen. Hello? Yeah, that's why we're single. Because we are not willing to be in relationship with toxic, challenging men, and to raise men, and to allow men to abuse us and to walk over us, because we have seen women not survive, because we don't actually want that for our lives, because we are full human beings no matter what our gender is, and we require and expect common decency and courtesy and respect. And she's slanging the word single like it's the biggest insult. Girl, at this rate, and I'm married, but at this rate, marriage is sounding like the insult. At this rate, yeah, that's what it sounded like. Oh God. Oh my God, I got this lash glue all under my eye. But this is what happens when we center men, but also when we center marriage and marriage at all costs. This is what happens. there is a clear breakdown in society. We cannot allow ourselves to believe that any and everything is of God, right? Even if we want it, even if we believe it to be so, it doesn't mean that it is of God. I can only speak of my experience in marriage and my experience with some of my friends who are married and my experience with God. And for me, God is love. God has been liberatory in my own personal life. It has been a guiding post and journey for me. And I don't believe that God is trying to haze me. I don't think that God is trying to harm me. I don't believe that, I am making these choices so that in 10 or 15 or 20 years, I will get to reap the benefits, right? Unless it is a job or some seeds that I am sowing. I do not believe that is the case in marriages and relationships. I don't believe that I should go through 5 years and 10 years of deep, deep suffering and disdain and infidelity and financial challenges and mismanagement and emotional and mental abuse, so that when I am in my 50s and 60s and 70s, I can say I was victorious because of the time frame. That's not the God that I serve. That's not the marriages that I believe in. That's not what marriage has been to me personally. That's not what my experience is. Marriage to me has been about love. Being at home with another human, right? To be in joy, to be in good company, to have a liberatory experience, to go through life together in ways that are joyous, almost always joyous. Not, 51%, almost always joyous. Liberating and freeing and natural and in community with another soul who gets me in ways that I may not even get myself. Yes, do we have to learn things about one another? Absolutely. Are we on this journey of life together? Yes. Will challenges come our way? Absolutely, but they're external. They are not internal. We are not creating the problems, especially amongst one another. I don't want to harm my partner. I don't want to see him harmed by anyone else. I don't want to harm him emotionally or physically. And I hope, and my experience with him is that he doesn't want to harm me emotionally or physically or mentally in those kinds of ways. And it just makes me so sad that there are women out there and men out there who their form of love is through deep, deep suffering. And that there are people who are advocating actively for this kind of marriage and doing so in Jesus' name. You are advocating for a marriage rooted in infidelity and consistent mental trauma and emotional abuse in Jesus' name. I'm at a loss for words, honestly. I can only say that I hope they both get the healing that they need. And I hope that one day we may see her. I'm not going to hold my breath for her to be liberated from that situation, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. I hope that she gets the tools that she needs to feel whole as a single person in the world. And that she recognizes that relationships and marriages do not define you, and that her relationship, her personal relationship with God, one of love and one of safety and one of kindness, is not rooted in God's ability to haze you and what you're able to overcome. Some people have, and some of y'all have the most toxic relationship with God. That you believe that God is constantly hazing you and throwing things your way to test you and to see if you're going to make it. My God, today. We have to liberate ourselves from this toxic relationship with God and believing that everything that our patriarchal and misogynistic world has created is that of a universal spirit. That is, y'all gotta cut it out. Y'all need to cut it out. Because there are young people watching you who are in abusive, physically, emotionally, mentally, and they are trying to stay the course because they would rather do that and be associated and attached to a man. And you are a leader and a public figure saying these things, and we have to call out this behavior because it is deeply irresponsible. It is irresponsible, guys. Like, I hate to be like, you know, on the internet because it's not fair and the dog piling can be a lot, but like it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. If you like this kind of video, this video was a lot, right? This video, we made it. If you like it, please comment. Please like the video. Please share the video. Share it with your girlfriend and then have her comment. And I would love to know what you all think. I mean, I think that marriage needs a rebrand, especially godly marriages. Y'all are not convincing nobody to get married with these godly marriage testimonies y'all are giving. He done drugged me and he done slept with 16 people and it took me 2 years to have, you know, 1 kid and he got 17 and I loved him. Get away from me with that, Apollo. Get away.